see in these conditions. We've got a great race in prospect as they come out of the final turn and head down towards the starting gantry, waiting for it to go green. It goes green flag. We ride on board with Michael Andretti as they head down towards the chicane. Remember, it's the tricky chicane. Watch for Franchitti. He's on the far left of your picture. Dario Franchitti in the Hogan car, but it's Pruitt who turns in first. One or two cars running wide. One of the Ganassi cars looks as though it could have been Zanardi getting into a bit of trouble coming into that first corner. Looks as though most people have managed to pick their way through safely, though. And somebody's off down there, and that is Dario Franchitti. Dario Franchitti running onto the grass, which is though he was squeezed out by somebody. As you can see, the spray really kicking up, and it is Scott Pruitt who leads. Gilles de Ferran in second position. Mauricio Guterman has started extremely well there. He's up into third place, and in fact battling to try and get past second there.
That's very interesting. Mauricio Guterman, of course, on the Firestone tyres, which last year, of course, were hopeless in the wet conditions in Detroit. Big improvements, obviously, by the Firestone engineers here, and Guterman's all over the back of Gilles de Ferran as they go onto the back straight away. Guterman on the outside, there's a long way around. There's Bobby Rahal off the road.
Yeah, we've got someone off already. Bobby Rahal, the experienced three-time former champion, has become a victim. Now, whether there was contact there or not in all that spray, very difficult for the drivers to see where they were and to see another car alongside, perhaps. So Bobby Rahal off on the grass as Scott Pruitt comes around to complete his first lap. Gilles de Ferran is in second position. Third place is Mauricio Guterman, though, and Guterman still looking to find a way past. Fourth position is Christian Fittipaldi. Then there's a big battle going on for fifth position right behind him with Andretti, Vassar and Franchitti still in there. Frankitti's dropped down to seventh, but there's quite a gaggle of cars going through, and as they blast past us on the pit straight here, clouds of water vapour going up in the air, and we've got de Ferran. De Ferran spun it. He's off. De Ferran, you ride with him as he slides across the grass, and that means that Guterman has gone up into second place now, and Gilles de Ferran tries to get back on the track. He rejoins in the middle of this gaggle. Franchitti almost gets squeezed out as they rejoin by Jimmy Vassar, and now Mark Blundell is right behind de Ferran.
Yeah, the Goodyear tyres don't seem to be working too well. Bobby Rahal, of course, on Goodyears. I was speaking to Mauricio Guterman after the sort of wet, dry session on Friday morning. He said the Firestone wet weather tyres seem to be particularly good when it's properly wet. And there's a sort of quick glimpse of the safety car getting in there to pull Bobby Rahal's car out of the way. That's a fairly dangerous move. There goes Paul Tracy, though. His Goodyear tyres are working very well indeed there. Here's Blundell, they're looking to pass him around the outside line. Oh, dear me, there he is. That's pretty tight racing there. He's got the inside line there for the turn 7-8 chicane. Will he take advantage of it? No, smart move, I think, by Mark Blundell. No point in forcing the issue this early.
Yeah, but it's good to see Tracy working his way up. Remember, he started in 13th place, was going well in this morning's warm-up as well. Towards the end of the session, very difficult conditions in this morning's warm-up. There is Christian Fittipaldi, and he is running in what is now third place, I think. Yes, having de Ferran having moved back, and Franchitti's trying to pass Andretti into the chicane, doesn't quite make it, and the Hogan car drops back in behind Michael Andretti, the winner at Homestead, as you ride on board Jimmy Vassar right behind these two. Gilles de Ferran has dropped to one place behind Vassar in seventh place now. Paul Tracy is up to eighth position. Good effort that. Mark Blundell is ninth, and Alex Zanardi was Zanardi who got squeezed on that opening lap into the chicane. He's down now in 10th position with Greg Moore 11th, Alonso Jr. 12th, Raul Boesel 13th, and Fernandez in 14th position.
So tremendous start here by Scott Pruitt there. 1 minute 19 was his last lap around there, compared to the pole, of course, of 59.5 or thereabouts. So nearly 20 seconds off the pole time. There is Dario Franchitti looking to get away past around Mario Andretti. That is for fourth position. The first two pulled well away from Christian Fittipaldi already. Christian, in fact, is 7 seconds or more behind the front runners, and there goes Franchitti. Not this time to the inside there of the back chicane.
Not quite yet, but again, it looks as though the Firestone tyre has got more grip than the Goodyear in this case, because Michael Andretti on the Goodyear rain tyre, Dario Franchitti on the Firestone rain tyre, and he is all over the back of the former champion. Franchitti really charging, but he's got Jimmy Vassar right behind him, and Vassar is also on Firestones. Can we pick them out of the glue? On board with Jimmy Vassar as they head down towards the chicane. Franchitti again trying to get down the inside. All this time he's made it. Great move from Dario Franchitti, overtaking one of the hardest racers in the business, Michael Andretti, but Andretti couldn't do an awful lot about it, and now he's got Jimmy Vassar right behind him as well. Can Franchitti hold off Andretti as they go into what is known as turn 1? That chicane being added in later on in the evolution of this racetrack, so this is still known as turn 1, the chicane known as the Festival chicane, but Jimmy Vassar not able to get past Michael Andretti there. It does mean, though, that Franchitti's moved up into fourth place now.
What a great effort again. There's Mark Blundell diving down the inside there. I think that was Gilles de Ferran, wasn't it? Going to turn 2 with a sliding around of the Texaco car of Michael Andretti. We're on board now with Jimmy Vasser, who really has been driving magnificently, I think, this season. Had a couple of bits of bad luck early on in the early races, but really putting it together now. Great drive. Here he is challenging Michael Andretti on the back straight away.
So the positions at the moment: Scott Pruitt leads, Guterman second, Fittipaldi third, Franchitti up to fourth from Andretti and Vasser. And we're taking a little look back now. This Gilles de Ferran spinning and getting back onto the circuit. In fact, that was in fact the point of when he lost all that time earlier on, and that dropped him down to where he is now in 7th place. Bobby Rahal back on the... let's just take a look at what happened to Bobby Rahal. This is when he spun it. We saw his car on the grass earlier. It was just too much power through the corner. The back end slid round and off went Bobby Rahal. So, seeing a lot of drama here already. And in fact, Scott Pruitt looks as though he may have been passed by Guterman, but I think that's not quite right. So looking back at the leaders now, let's see what's happening. Yes, he has. Guterman has got past Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, we were on board there with that Bobby Rahal spin. I was trying to get a word in. I thought, well, I won't interrupt you right there, Ben. Mauricio was making a move to come alongside on the front straightaway, right in front of our booth here. He was behind him when he went past here. By the time they got down to the start-finish line, which is about 200 or 300 yards away, he'd actually put the nose in front. And so there is Mauricio Guterman able to complete the manoeuvre down at the festival curves and already beginning to pull away. Last lap around was a 1:17.2, which is almost a second quicker than anybody else has gone here this afternoon. Fabulous effort by the Brazilian.
Yeah, Mark Blundell chasing Jimmy Vasser. You ride on board Jimmy Vasser. Mark Blundell in the second of the Pac West cars, looking to find a way past the reigning champion and squeezing. Oh, he's looking so close, trying to get down the inside into turn 1. Has he got the line? Let's take another look. No, he doesn't quite make it. And we saw a move down here in the Indy Lights race, right round the outside. There's quite a lot of grip offline in these conditions, but Mark Blundell not quite able to find that advantage just yet. What fantastic pictures, though, as Blundell is right behind Jimmy Vasser through this sequence of third gear corners at the bottom end of the track. And there you can see Blundell's car twitching around in the wet conditions as he tries to get the power down.
That is a great view, isn't it, of the Motorola car there from the back of Jimmy Vasser's target machine. There goes Mauricio Guterman to complete lap 7 past us. 1 minute 16.8, so going ever faster is Mauricio Guterman. Pulls away another couple of seconds that lap, almost out to 5 seconds now. The gap over Scott Pruitt. Dario Franchitti all alone is 3rd place, but already 10 seconds even behind Scott Pruitt. So a long way to go for Dario Franchitti before he has another challenge for position.
New fastest lap of the race for Alex Zanardi, a 16.676, 2/10 of a second faster than Maurizio Guterman. And Zanardi still on the chart. Fittipaldi 5th, Andretti 6th, Blundell is 7th. Then you've got this other battle. Vasser is in 8th, de Ferran is in 9th. There he is. This is the view of Gilles de Ferran from Jimmy Vasser's car now, and this is the battle for 8th position. Behind de Ferran, Paul Tracy. Watch out for the Penske, because that's not far behind either. The Marlboro car, Paul Tracy, should be just behind these two. In fact, Greg Moore's got past him, though, so the two Canadians have swapped over there. Greg Moore's now come up to 10th, and Paul Tracy's dropped back down to 11th. And we've got a cone in the middle of the road there, which doesn't exactly help matters either. Plastic cone that's been displaced, but everybody picking their way past it so far as Maurizio Guterman continues to lead by 4.9 seconds on what is now the 8th lap of the race.
He's ahead of him before his pace car interruption, so good effort by Michel Jourdain Jr. And here we are back up to green flag racing again. The pace car is in to the pit lane. There goes Mauricio Guterman. This will be 13th lap in the books, and there is Scott Pruitt getting his way past the tail end car of PJ Jones.
And watch out behind, because we've now got a great battle with Franchitti and Zanardi in behind those two as well, and on board with Jimmy Vasser battling with Michael Andretti. That's the battle for 8th place. But let's get back up front as Franchitti just about fends off Zanardi into the festival chicane, but they're all together now. Pruitt, Franchitti, Zanardi, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Michael Andretti and Jimmy Vasser side by side as they come through there. Fittipaldi's been dropped back. He's dropped some places there, so that means it looks as though Andretti's now come up into 6th position. And Mark Blundell should be just a little ahead of that. We'll try and spot where Mark is. There he goes through picture. He's still ahead of Michael Andretti, but Vasser has also moved past Fittipaldi now, who's dropped down into 8th place. But still a great effort from Fittipaldi. Remember, his first drive after breaking his leg in Australia. And there is the view of Christian's car, the Budweiser car, the Swift chassis, same as Michael Andretti, and this is a good, oh, look at Carpentier, he's lost it, the back end's gone, he's lost it right in front of Andre Ribeiro, 360 degrees, Jourdain nearly loses it and trying to get past him, Carpentier rejoins, and just as he did in this morning's warm-up, a 360 with no damage, but Carpentier is struggling out there.
Quite a nice save actually, wasn't it? Dead straight line, he continues, selects first gear, and off he goes. Second gear probably actually in these conditions. But yeah, he's been struggling this weekend. Patrick Carpentier with the Alimax coach, great on the ovals, but really having a hard time here. As the cars come past to complete lap 14, Gougemin already 3.2 seconds to the good. And here is a battle for second, third and fourth, with Franchitti holding off there, Alex Zanardi into the festival curves.
Isn't this good to see? They're all on Firestone tyres, they're all driving Reynard chassis, but we've got 3 engine manufacturers. As Zanardi now has got a great run out of there, yes, and that was just, he was smoother on the power. You saw Franchitti get sideways, he had to lift off the throttle, and that meant that he lost momentum out of the corner. Zanardi now pops up into 3rd position, Franchitti back to 4th, but a great effort. Remember, Franchitti had never driven an IndyCar in wet conditions before this weekend. The first time he drove it in the wet was here just the other day. He said it takes a bit of getting used to, and yet there he is up running in the top 3, back down to 4th position at the moment, but nonetheless, and great effort. Zanardi, more experience in the wet, winner here last year. We did a great job in the wet on slick tyres. He's now up into 3rd and chasing after Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, desperate to get his season back into gear after a couple of disappointing results for Alex Zanardi. So certainly a tremendous drive this afternoon. There he is through that chicane, using all the road on the exit, and you'll see him there, he's quite a way off the apex of that corner in turn 9. Smart move, he often get puddles down there, down in that little dip where the apex is, and Alex Zanardi now has his sights set on Scott Pruitt's 2nd position.
A little bit of news from the pits. We saw Fangio in the pits a moment ago. He's had a black flag for violating the blend line coming out of the pits and not keeping over to the inside of the track. So he's had a black flag, had to come into the pit lane. That's the reason we saw him in that inset box. Meanwhile, the battle goes on behind as Michael Andretti and Jimmy Vasser fight for what is 6th place now, and Greg Moore trying to get past Fittipaldi. That was close. He just about managed to squeeze into the corner, bump it over the curb and avoid hitting the back of Fittipaldi's car. But Greg Moore looking to try and move into 8th place. That's Fittipaldi's property. But Greg Moore looking to get up a place and further up into the top 10 now.
Between those first 2 leaders, so that'll enable Gougemin perhaps to get a good jump off turn 9 and get a good lead going into the festival curves. But Fangio, very experienced driver, keeps well out of the way there. Good move by him, allows Scott Pruitt to go through on the inside. Next will be Alex Zanardi, and then the 2 British drivers, Dario Franchitti and Mark Blundell, hot on his heels as well.
Franchitti down on the inside, but staying behind Zanardi as they go into the festival chicane, and now Mark Blundell looking for a way past. Then Greg Moore's got up there and past Fittipaldi. Good battle as Alonso Jr. tries to squeeze past, and zero near. Gilles de Ferran almost loses it coming out of the corner on the power as Alonso Jr. was trying to go past you. Right on board with Gilles de Ferran now, and he's lost that place to Alonso Jr. Jr. the 3 times winner here at Portland, including his first ever win back in 1984. I think you were here for that, weren't you?
I was actually the first kart race that I saw over here in 1984. A great drive it was by young Alonso Jr. Of course, plenty of winning since then. Took him 10 years to win another race here, but then of course he won again in 95, so he certainly knows what it takes around this racetrack.
But the weather is not suiting the Goodyear tyres on the Penske at the moment. Gougemin pulls away. Scott Pruitt is in 2nd. He's pulled away a little bit from Alex Zanardi. That's still the battle that we're focusing on, though, the battle for 2nd place. There's the red car of Zanardi, the target car of the Italian who won here last year, still being chased by the silver and blue car of Dario Franchitti. Putting in a great performance so far, as we've seen in the last few races from Franchitti. Really settling into this series now. We're just over the halfway point in the championship, and I suppose it's a time that the learning curve is really now being turned into race performances, and that's exactly what Franchitti's doing as he chases after Zanardi. Remember, they had contact in the last race, though, in Detroit, when they hit each other in the first corner. That puts Zanardi out of the race. He didn't attach too much blame to Dario after the race. He said, well, it was just one of those things, a little bit unfortunate. He said, Alex said, I've been fairly lucky in recent times not to have been hit on one of those first corner incidents that can happen so often. Sometimes your luck runs out. So I don't think there's any bad feeling between these two, but a good battle going on nonetheless.
Yeah, that's by those 2 teams.
Away we go again then. Alex Zanardi leads them out. Oh, we've got a spinner. I think that's Scott Pruitt, is it? Can't quite see at the moment. I think Scott Pruitt lost it as he got the power down coming out of the final corner, and that was the man lying in 4th position. He's blown it. He has spun away his chances by the looks of things, unless something dramatic happens. Scott Pruitt right down to the back of the queue as Alex Zanardi leads through the first chicane. Gugelmin in second, Vassar in third, with Paul Tracy now up into fourth. Andretti fifth, being chased by Mark Blundell in sixth. Alonso Jr. banging wheels with Dario Franchitti. Oh, and Franchitti and Jr. on the grass. They've hit each other, taken each other off, and they're both out of it by the looks of it, straight into the tyre barrier on the outside of the chicane. And that all looked a bit unnecessary, but we'll have to see what happens on the replay. Let's hope we get another view of that, because they just seemed to get together halfway round. Perhaps they just got interlocked and they couldn't release themselves again from that incident. Unfortunately, it means the end of the race for Dario Franchitti and for Al Unser Jr. And unsurprisingly, we've gone to yellow flags once again. Al Unser Jr. stays in the car as just to damage the front end of his. Let's take another look at what happened. There they are in the background of the picture, side by side coming out of the corner. There they both seem to have enough room at that particular point. Let's just see as they get together. Well, they just made a little bit of contact and then they got hooked together pretty much, and that was it. They were both off into the tyres. I guess just one of those things in the end. Yeah,
I mean, it's so slippery. There's a concrete there, as you can see there in the foreground. It's very, very slippery there, and you know, it's just, I think it's just one of those. There's Al Unser Jr., of course, devastated because he had a horrendous run of luck here in the last few races, and that doesn't help his cause at all. But you know, it's awfully difficult to make a call on that. It's so slippery. There they are on the left-hand side of the corner. They've already interlocked by the time they come into the screen and go into the barriers there. But it takes just the slightest tap. When the two cars are alongside each other, they're slightly curving there in any case. And you know, the rear wheels, of course, the rear track is slightly wider than the front track, and you get them tangled together, and they just sort of turn off, spin off the road together. Great shame for both drivers.
It is a shame, and Franchitti, who was running so well, of course, he lost a lot of time on the first pit stop, and it just seems the pit stops going wrong this year for Hogan Racing and for Dario Franchitti. Meanwhile, there's Scott Pruitt trying to get started again. He spun it, remember. This is a replay of what happened to Pruitt. Watch for the fourth place car. There he was, just too much power, too early in the corner. Round came the back end, and that spun him, and unfortunately he stalled it as well in trying to avoid everybody, or them avoiding him. I think he then hit the brakes, rolling back a little bit there, which is probably the best thing to do because the normal line is around the outside there, but then the car stops. Al Unser Jr. walks slowly back to the paddock and looking very disappointed. Let's take another look at that Scott Pruitt incident from Michael Andretti.
So there's Paul Tracy's car in front of Michael Andretti. Scott Pruitt is the driver in front of that. And there he just gets around. He goes, it's like an ice rink out there. It's so slippery. And there goes Michael Andretti. He pulls over the inside to protect his line down into the next corner.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty difficult maneuver there. I think we've got Carl Hogan down in the pits, hopefully, and that's Dario's team owner.
Let's get down to Marty Reed.
Yes, we're down here with a very unhappy Carl Hogan. Carl, you saw the replay and you went over to had a few words with some of the Penske people. Care to share with us your thoughts?
Well, I just asked him if Al said what happened, because that's not like Junior to do something like that. And he, you know, I'm sure something happened and they pushed us off the track, but it's just unfortunate. Get a little sick and tired of this stuff.
Obviously, very, very frustrated Carl Hogan.
He's angry, isn't he? He is seriously angry about that. But when we looked at it on the replay, it looked as though Al was trying to give Dario a bit of space, and it's just too slippery out there, and I don't think he can really give Al Unser Jr. too hard a time about that. Still on yellow flags, we're going to take a break. Stay with us here on Eurosport.
You just can't buy a break this season. What happened in that incident with Franchitti?
Well, he came diving in underneath. We can't see, no one can see out there right now, and so on these restarts it's really bad as far as your visual. He came blasting in there and moved me over to the left on the right-hander at the beginning of the right-hander. So then we were equal going into the left, and then on the exit, both of us we hooked ourselves into each other and drove us off the racetrack. And so, you know, we're fighting for position and ended up getting into each other.
We've got a picture of Franchitti in an animated conversation with his owner, Carl Hogan, at the same time, Junior. You talked before the race in our pre-race show about the importance of patience. Were you trying to be patient today under these tough conditions?
Yeah, I was being as patient as I could. You know, we were backing up more and more and more, and we were definitely patient. You know, he came blasting in there, and you know, you can't be too patient and not be aggressive. It is still a race, and so we were doing that. We were still being real smooth and careful, but we ended up hooking each other, and that's what took us off.
Thank you. Let's go to Marty.
team owner. Care to share your thoughts, what happened out there and what you two shared?
Yeah, well, first of all, myself and Carl were kind of consoling each other. He's a little bit upset. Obviously, we were in a good position today. He's not upset with me. He kind of says he feels sorry for me, and I feel really sorry for him because he's working really hard to get this whole thing working at the moment, the whole team. And we came in the pits third, went out whatever 17th. We should have never been in the position we were in on the track. So it's unfortunate.
Did you get a little too aggressive? I mean, Al or Junior was saying there was nowhere for him to go.
Well, I passed him on the straight, and I was a good bit ahead of him on the straight when I passed him at the start-finish line even before. And he came from nowhere and tried to pass me in the left part, and he just kept coming out and out and out. Once we'd hooked up, we couldn't pass each other. We couldn't do anything about it once we'd hooked up. So I'm a little bit upset about it. He was trying something he wasn't really on.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Well, fascinating stuff there, Jeremy, from Dario Franchitti, and those pictures of him with Carl Hogan. You could see that the relationship that there exists between them, and both of them, of course, just so disappointed. There's Bobby Rahal. He's out of the race as well, checking over the back of the car, so another retirement. But we've seen some changes in position because Mark Blundell has come up to third position now. Mark's up to third ahead of Jimmy Vasser, dropped down to fourth. Greg Moore is in fifth place as Alex Zanardi is maintaining just about a second's advantage over Maurizio Gugelmin. Brian Herter, meanwhile, is coming under pressure here from Raul Boesel. This is a good battle that's been going on. You may well have been watching it already as the interviews were going on. Parker Johnston's got ahead of them. He's in 8th place now. Then it's Brian Herter. Then it's Raul Boesel. And also in there is Michel Jourdain. He's battling for position as well. He's in 11th.
Great effort, isn't it? It's fantastic to see the little teams doing well. That's one of the great things I think about the PPG Kart World Series. The little guy has the same equipment as the big guys. There is Raul Boesel pulling down the inside and the braking for the festival curves. Herder doing a super job there to keep the Brahma car behind him. Great job by Brian Herder. And there's Michel Jourdain Jr., not known for his patience, but doing a great job this afternoon. Early but not too hard, and lead it up towards the green flag.
So off we go again onto lap number 47. Zanardi, Gugelmin and Blundell, the two Pac West cars chasing the Ganassi car of Alex Zanardi, and down in towards the first chicane. Watch everybody in the background fanning out, looking for position. Greg Moore is in 4th place, 5th is Paul Tracy, 6th Michael Andretti. Parker Johnston's right in there. Johnson slid down the inside of Andretti there, and that's a good move from the local man, and that will please the fans that have come along to support him especially. And Johnson, that means he's moved up into 6th place as they go through that first corner.
Great drive there by Parker Johnson. He's had a miserable time this year, and particularly this weekend up until now. But now the fire is burning with Parker Johnson. He can feel that he has the potential here for a good result. Don't do anything silly. He knows that his tyres are better than the Goodyear tyres on Paul Tracy's car. There's Paul Tracy sliding sideways under power exit to turn 3. Johnson just biding his time. He'll wait for a clearer opportunity than that, and hopefully here coming onto the back straightaway he'll be able to get the power down and move alongside Paul Tracy. Well, maybe not this time, but certainly for sure in the next couple. That's there he goes on the outside. Tracy holding the inside now for the chicane, a left-right chicane. Nowhere around there for Parker Johnson. Ooh, Tracy. Oh, he's trying hard as well, isn't he? Great drive by Paul Tracy. There's certainly the Goodyear tyres are not the tyres to have this afternoon, but a very tight line for Parker Johnson off the exit of that corner.
Yes, looking for a way to get out of the corner quicker than Paul Tracy. That gets him alongside the Penske, but is it going to be enough to outbrake him? It looks good for Parker Johnson as he comes down in towards the festival chicane. Not a lot Paul Tracy can do about that as they turn into the corner, and Parker Johnson now moves up into 5th position. Just looking at a replay of that, as that was in fact the contact that was made as they came down towards that fast left-right at the end of the back straight. Oh, we've got a shunt down there. Gualter Salles on the right, and Andre Ribeiro and Brian Herter all involved down at the festival chicane. And there's Ribeiro's car on the far right. The white car of Gualter Salles is being pushed away from the wall on the outside, and Brian Herter's car is the white and black car that you can see on the left-hand side of your picture. And what a disappointment. They were all battling away just inside the top 10, and now two of those cars out. Gualter Salles gets a push, and we've got a yellow flag again. Oh dear, what a shame. It's breaking the race up too much. We really would like a bit of green flag action now. We've had too many yellow flags over this last section of the race. Brian Herter urging those marshals to get him going again. And there is Andre Ribeiro in the Lola, and he was running in 10th place before that little incident caused them all a problem. So Zanardi staying out there. Now, yes, we may well see some other pit stops coming up here, but Zanardi, for the moment, has decided to stay out on circuit. So is Gugelmin, so is Blundell, and so is Greg Moore. So the leaders all staying out on circuit at the moment. Alex Zanardi bunches everybody up, slows them all right down, doesn't he? Now he charges, now he goes for it, hits the throttle. Gugelmin and Blundell chasing after behind him. Then Greg Moore in 4th place. Parker Johnston running in a great 5th place. Fantastic performance this has been from Parker Johnston, who started down in 19th position on the grid and making... Oh, and hurt us off. Well, there you go. That's what happens if you put slick tyres on too early. And perhaps the gamble doesn't pay off. But as the race gets underway, it's Zanardi who leads. Gugelmin in 2nd place. Blundell in 3rd. Let's hope for no repeat of the incidents into this first corner as Tracy slots into 6th place. Andretti is in 7th position. Behind him is Raul Boesel. Michel Jourdain still going well, the young Mexican in 9th. Jimmy Vasser 10th. Gilles de Ferran in 11th. And Christian Fittipaldi in 12th place. Zanardi now trying to pull away. Always very quick on the restarts, Zanardi. It's a feature of his driving we've seen over the last year or two in the championship. He can get going very quickly, gets the heat into his tyres very quickly, pretty brave. But sometimes then it puts too much load in the tyres and he drops back again later on in the stint.
Yeah, certainly towards just before that, those couple of yellow flags in quick succession there, you seem to be struggling on those tyres, and there's Brian Hurd, of course, answered our question quite neatly, spun off even before the green flag on the back straight, curving back straightaway there. Slightly dangerous there. This is a very, very fast section of track, and if anybody else were to go off there, I wouldn't like to hear the consequences. But this is a replay of Hurd just running around the corner there, and you know, no grip whatsoever. Look how fast it slides.
Oh, look at that. You could hear the bang as well against the wall, couldn't you? When you get on grass, it just seems to accelerate and slide into the wall. And as you say, he was going pretty quickly. That's a flat-out kink. But slick tyres is just too much difficulty in these sort of conditions. There's Paul Tracy, Michael Andretti playing a bit of a waiting game at the moment. What they're hoping is that the Goodyear tyre is going to be in better shape in this slightly drying conditions. And that's certainly what we've heard over the weekend so far, that the Goodyear guys might be in better shape. The tyre being a little harder, which would make sense with what we've seen so far in the race. They haven't been so fast. Perhaps the tyre compound a little harder on the Goodyear wet, but it may well hold up better as the track begins to dry. We'll have to watch Paul Tracy and Michael Andretti's progress to see if that proves correct.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting indeed. There is Michael Andretti on board with him, 7th place, still sliding there. The car sideways under acceleration out of turn 3. Here he is, turn 4. The kink there, turn 5 to the left. Little slight kink. Whoa, it's slippery out there, isn't it?
These are great pictures though, aren't they? You've got Tracy sliding his way up ahead of you, and you've got Michael Andretti, you're riding on board with him, sliding all over the place as well. Fantastic demonstration of the skill of these guys. Just trying to hold the cars on the road when you've got some 700 brake horsepower, all that power going through the rear wheels, and it's all down to their control to be able to hold that. PJ Jones has gone off somewhere. I can't see where that is, but that could cause another yellow flag, unfortunately. And let's just see where that is. That's down at sort of turn 1, it's a bit further round, isn't it, in that sequence of corners. And the leaders are going to be round there in just a moment, and we've got the news that a full course yellow is out again. Oh dear, oh dear. What a fragmented race this is turning into. Really, the conditions just catching out the drivers so much. And
dry out. That's going to be very, very marginal indeed. Here comes Mauricio Gugelmin and Marc Blundell leading the cars through to complete lap 56 and green flag conditions once again.
So Gugelmin has a bit of an advantage over Blundell. Greg Moore then in 3rd place, Parker Johnston in 4th, ahead of Paul Tracy in 5th, and Raul Boesel, who's just ahead of Michael Andretti. Again, a little bit of contact down the back there as both Jimmy Vasser and Alex Zanardi try and make up for lost ground. I couldn't quite see which one of the Ganassi cars it was that got almost onto the grass going through the chicane, but Gugelmin and Marc Blundell both pulling away a little bit from Greg Moore and looking for the dry part of the course through the corners. They've got to find the dry track through the corners because obviously that's the fastest way to get through the corners, but on the straights they've got to find the wet bit to try and cool the tyres down. So it really is the drivers working hard, looking at the surface of the road.
Notice this next piece of road here under the trees on this curving back straightaway where we saw Brian Hurd spin off. That's the danger part. That's where underneath those trees it always takes much longer to dry out than almost the whole rest of the circuit, and that is the danger point for the drivers. It's not until they know they can comfortably go through there flat out that they know they're safe to change the slick tyres.
We'll also keep an eye on the lap times, because normally on a track like this, if they get within around 9 or 10 seconds of the dry weather times, it would be quicker on slicks. A 1 minute 14 on that restarted lap, as Parker Johnson now makes a move on Greg Moore. Johnson on the outside in the green and white car, doesn't quite get past the blue and white car of Greg Moore, but that was a good effort, and Johnson is so fired up now, working well with the Green Racing team. His engineer Tony Cicali, of course, Jacques Villeneuve's engineer back in '95 when Villeneuve won the title here. Villeneuve was the pole position sitter at this race as well. His target only just beaten this year by Scott Pruitt, but Johnson now in fact having dropped back from Moore, and Paul Tracy suddenly getting good again. Look at this.
Look at Parker Johnson slide there on that almost drying track. No question, Paul Tracy has more traction in these conditions. This is very interesting indeed. Farther back, a couple of places further back, we saw Alex Zanardi made up a couple of positions on that last lap. He's up into 9th place now, car number 4, the early leader in this race. And there they are on that second fastest part of the straightaway. You can see the dry line beginning to emerge, and through this section here, there is 7 and 8, the chicane there, it's almost dry.
This is great stuff. The Goodyear tyre now perhaps coming into its own in these drying conditions. Parker Johnson's in trouble with his tyres, and he's reporting that they're probably going to have to stop for fuel anyway to come in and make a change, but whether the tyres will hold up, that's the big question mark at the moment. Gugelmin from Blundell, Greg Moore, Parker Johnston, Paul Tracy, Gilles de Ferran and Jimmy Vasser battling for position there as well, as we ride on board with the reigning champion Jimmy Vasser, and Alex Zanardi's close right up behind them. Watch out, nearly contact coming out of the chicane. Gilles de Ferran right behind Jimmy Vasser, and Alex Zanardi not more than a car length behind the back of the Valvoline car as well. Through into turn 1 they go. Fantastic racing. You now ride on board with Alex Zanardi at the back of this trio.
Great stuff there. You can see them there turning into the corner, and there is Gilles de Ferran right behind him. Gilles de Ferran, of course, on the Goodyear tyres. They worked very, very well in qualifying. He was second on the grid. He looks to the inside, not this time. Alex Zanardi turns into turn 5. I'm sorry, Jimmy Vasser turns in there to turn 5 and onto the back straightaway. Gilles de Ferran in his wheel tracks, and right behind those two is Alex Zanardi.
Good battle this one at the moment. Let's see how it resolves as they come down towards the end of the straight. Zanardi tries to get down the inside of de Ferran. Oh, he's up over the curb to avoid him. De Ferran shutting the door, fair enough, and de Ferran now gets past Vasser. De Ferran on the Goodyear tyres, gets past Vasser on the Firestones. Vasser goes back a place. Zanardi slides it coming out of the final corner, correcting the slide as he came out, getting the power on, but now looking to get onto the wet part of the track to cool those Firestone tyres down as they really start to wear on the drying surface. Behind him, Adrian Fernandez is running in 10th place. Christian Fittipaldi is in 11th, and Walter Salas is in 12th place, as once again the two teammates do battle, and this time Zanardi's got a great exit there, and he manages to move up the place into 8th position.
Great stuff, isn't it? It was fascinating, wasn't it? There was Zanardi trying to make a move on Gilles de Ferran, and then the next corner, de Ferran himself makes a move on Jimmy Vasser, so nothing sacred here.
That's right. Up front, meanwhile, let me tell you, Gugelmin has a second's advantage over Mark Blundell, and I was going to tell you about the lap times. They're doing 1 minute 13s. They're just outside that 10-second area where you would think that it would be quicker on slicks. At the moment, they're about 13-14 seconds off their dry weather pace, so at this time it still looks as though wet tyres are the best solution, but look how well Paul Tracy's going now. The Goodyear tyres are really helping him to get onto the gearbox of Parker Johnston, and as they come out of the final corner, Johnston's still taking that tighter line. Tracy will have to try and make his way down the outside into the first chicane. Oh, Fernandez has been on the grass, rejoins right in front of Michel Jourdain and Michael Andretti there as well, and Andretti down in 14th position now. He's dropped away somewhat with all of the changes that have been going on. He's down in 14th, and Jourdain just ahead of him as across the line they go, and Fernandez I think just lost that place to Jourdain.
There's some great stuff going all the way back down the field here. We see Gualter Salas is still running in 11th place. Actually, he moved up as a result of Adrian Fernandez's mistake, and a horrible misfire on Gualter Salas' car. So he's doing a fabulous job to keep that car at the moment within the points there. 11th place for Davis Racing. Back
as Paul Tracy now looking for the chance to get past Mark Blundell. Blundell on that back stretch, he'll still be fending off the Penske, and Tracy may not decide to take a gamble here if he knows he's coming into the pits anyway. There's not a great deal of point in risking everything to get past the Motorola car.
Which tyres is he going to choose? Assuming he comes into the pits this time around, there he is, peeling to the inside, coming into pit lane. Car number 3, Paul Tracy, in 3rd position. Which tyres is he going to choose?
Well, most of them still doing wet weather tyres, but Christian Fittipaldi's just done a 1:10. Now that would be getting into slick weather territory. Now let's see what they go for. It looks as though they probably go for wets on, or are they? No, they're going for slicks, I do believe. They are indeed going for slick tyres on the Penske, and that is an interesting choice for the Penskes as they comes back out. Interesting to see that good lap time last time around from Fittipaldi's back down into the 1:13s this lap. As Scott Pruitt comes back, look at that, on the slick tyres. He can't even get out of the pit lane, can he, even keep it straight? And the problem is, look, he's come out right in front, or right behind a whole bunch of cars, as down the escape road goes
PJ Jones. He'll have to come to a stop there at the end of that escape road before we can rejoin it. Let Tracy go through. The pit lane, of course, that'll be one of the... Oh, Paul Tracy spins!
He's lost it on cold slicks. Just the problem. You've got to be so careful, but can he get going again? He's still, look at the way the car's going. Still going across the grass. And he's still got the engine running. Has he? Yes, he's still spinning the wheels. Now he's got to get off the grass if he possibly can. And slick tyre traction on wet grass is not that good. But he tries to get back on. He's going to make it back onto the circuit. No damage done to the car. And he rejoins the track. But the track is just so slippery. And the problem is those cold tyres. They're not allowed to preheat them. Unlike in Formula 1 where they can get the tyres up to temperature in the tyre blankets before they go on their cars. Not allowed in this form of racing, and he's struggling.
That's a battle for 5th place. Raul Boesel, Gilles de Ferran, the target car of Alex Zanardi and Christian Fittipaldi all closing up there together. A great battle for now. 5th position, as we saw a replay of Paul Tracy. It looks pretty dry there, but just that change of surface, and a little bit after that, it's very difficult. You can see the change of concrete to asphalt there, and there goes Tracy spinning across the grass and taking out all the Budweiser signs.
Yeah, great advertising for Budweiser, but Paul Tracy, there you are, look at him going straight across the grass. Look at the speed the thing went off at. Remember, he's only in 2nd gear coming out of that chicane, so it's one of the slowest parts of the whole track, and just look how far it went across the grass before he managed to get it under control. He's got it under control now, but that's dropped him well down the order. He's in 15th position as he comes across the line. Temperature. That'll come up in about a lap, and once he's got a lap under his belt, the tyres will really start to grip the road well on that dry line. The problem is when they have to overtake, get on the wet stuff. Oh, look at that. Is he holding Joel nearly off the track onto the grass. Again, the cold slicks, just a nightmare. Oh, and Tracy's lost it. Tracy, after that dramatic quick lap, and he's just done a 1:06 on the last lap, and now he's blown it again. He's got onto the damp stuff somewhere, and it just shows you how hard it is on slicks.
Mark Blundell in the pits. We have a new race leader. It's Gilles de Ferran. A couple of laps ago, he was running in 7th place, but with his pit stops, and he's just able to move through into the lead there. He's still on wets, of course, Gilles de Ferran. 1:12.1 last time around. There's Greg Moore trying to get around, but Blundell leads Greg Moore out of the pits. We've got a motor race here with, about 13 minutes left to go.
And remember, Zanardi is up there. He's in 2nd place, but old Salas is looks on fire there. Nasty, get out of there, Qualter, because that car is going up in smoke. The marshal's there fairly quickly, and a very smoky end to his race. Now that, of course, is likely to cause a yellow flag. Now that could cause some fun and games here, couldn't it? If we get a yellow flag now with some 12 minutes of the race still to go. Zanardi is still on wets, I think, at the moment, isn't he? Gilles de Ferran is still on wets, and they're running 1st and 2nd at the moment. Christian Fittipaldi has come up to 3rd place. Greg Moore is being shown as 4th, ahead of Michael Andretti, and poor old Walter Sales, who had come up to 6th position before that happened to him. And now, of course, big problems. Meanwhile, coming down the straight, you can see the view from on board. Gilles de Ferran on his wet tyres.
Do you see that right front lock up there? Just as he look at him sliding, look at the understeer as he comes off that corner. Boy, he's got a handful there as Gilles de Ferran. Last lap around, 1:11.6. Looking down the order to see who else is going faster. Well, actually nobody right now, because of course Tracy had that spin, and the other guys aren't yet up to speed on their slick tyres. So certainly he has the advantage right now.
Don't forget, he's on the Goodyear wet, the one that lasts better. The question is, can he make it last the remaining or 11 minutes now it is, of this race. His advantage some 3.8 seconds over Zanardi last time round. Zanardi on the Firestone tyre that is not holding up so well in these drying conditions. Fittipaldi then in third place, and he's doing a good job still, lapping in 1 minute 12 the last time around. Michael Andretti is running in fourth. And with all the changes, Adrian Fernandez has suddenly popped up into fifth place, with Mark Blundell in sixth position. There is Fittipaldi, third position for him at the moment. And it really is all changed so far.
Yeah, he's got past Alex Zanardi there, so second place now for Christian Fittipaldi, absolutely reveling in these conditions.
Now, is Christian on slicks? Did we spot a change? He may well be on slicks. There's a sort of pace he's been doing, and we saw that 1 minute 10, remember, from him a little bit early on. Doesn't seem to be too bothered about going on the wet stuff, but of course he's on Goodyears anyway, so it may just be that his wet tyres are holding up remarkably well at the moment. Looking down at the car, difficult to see at speed exactly what tyres he's on, but Christian Fittipaldi driving an absolutely storming race and closing up to the back. Yes, he's still on wets, as you can see, but he's closing up to the back of Gilles de Ferran. What a comeback from Christian Fittipaldi, out of action since the Australian race at Surfers Paradise, when he suffered that big accident, which actually involved Gilles de Ferran in as well. Now he's come back and he's running in second, and now you're looking at the battle further down for seventh position, with seventh Greg Moore, eighth Michel Jourdain, and no, he's been passed by Maurizio Gugelmin, so Gugelmin is now in eighth place and Jourdain in ninth position.
Yeah, Jourdain's struggling now. He's still on wet weather tyres. Gugelmin goes past him there on the slicks, and that's the difference between those two right now. Is Raoul Boisel also in the picture, and Parker Johnston, who will be next up in line.
I tell you what, Jeremy, it's so confusing, this race at the moment. We've got to sort of just draw breath for a moment and try and work out what's going on here. At the moment, it's Gilles de Ferran who's leading. He's on wet tyres, he's on the Goodyear tyre, the harder tyre. Christian Fittipaldi is in second position. He's also on the Goodyear wet. Alex Zanardi is in third position, and he is on the Firestone wet. Michael Andretti is in fourth position, but some way further behind. Then Adrian Fernandez is in fifth, and Mark Blundell, well, he's now in sixth. So we've seen such a complete change around in the last few laps, and we really are into the closing stages of this race. There, your top six positions, and we've still got a few laps to go here. Anything can still happen, as we know in motor racing. De Ferran up front. The pole position sitter, remember, put in that dramatic last... Well, no, he wasn't pole here. He was on the front row, put in that dramatic effort to grab pole from Scott Pruitt in the closing moments of yesterday's qualifying session. But it's been a while since he's won a race, and the Brazilians are getting very, very, very excited, because, of course, it's a 1-2 for Brazil at the moment, with De Ferran being chased by Christian Fittipaldi. And let's look how close now Christian Fittipaldi is to the back of Gilles de Ferran's car, and I just cannot believe how well Fittipaldi's going. Remember, it's his first race back. He's not fit. That broken leg means that he hasn't been able to do the training that's necessary for a racing driver to perform at top level. He's done some swimming, that sort of training in recent weeks, but he's just not at full fitness level, and here he is chasing our leader and looking to get into the lead of this race.
Meanwhile, we hear that the black flag will be shown to Paul Tracy, apparently for passing under one of those local yellows. So he'd moved himself back up to 11th place and clearly had one of the fastest cars on the track. But that'll be all for naught, because he'll be in within a lap or two to serve that penalty.
Fittipaldi's closed right up to the back of Gilles de Ferran's car now, but can he find a way of getting past the Valvoline machine? Zanardi is in third, but he's some 8 seconds behind these two battling for the lead. There's then a 5-second gap back to Michael Andretti, and then another big chunk of time, 9 seconds back to Mark Blundell. Behind Mark, Greg Moore is right on his tail. And behind Moore, there's a 4-second gap back to Adrian Fernandez, Maurizio Gugelmin, who's right on his tail, then Raoul Boisel, Parker Johnston, Paul Tracy, who, as Jeremy said, is likely to get a black flag, and Michel Jourdain, who's 12th.
Raoul Boisel, actually last lap around, his fastest lap, I think, probably of the race, 1 minute 4.491. It's fascinating to look up and down the leaderboard here. The leader last time around, 1:11. This time, as he comes past a complete lap 72, 1 minute 10.754. And Raoul Boisel coming through, that's 5 seconds a lap faster.
Last lap time for the two leaders was 1 minute 10. That gives you an idea. The guys on slicks are now going some 6 seconds a lap faster. Mark Blundell and Greg Moore, both 1 minute 4s last time round. 6 seconds a lap faster than the leaders. They won't be able to sustain this lead at that sort of pace. They will not be able to hold on. And Blundell was just 2 seconds behind Andretti as they went past last time. He is flying on slick tyres. The question is, can he get past? Because the wet offline will make it very, very difficult. But Blundell is flying at the moment.
fastest lap last time around, 1 minute 4.586. He's within a couple of seconds. Andretti can eat him up in no time at all. We're watching here the leaders as one of the Toyotas behind the two leaders there. Gilles de Ferran leading Christian Fittipaldi, and the Toyota is probably on slick tyres. He might well go past them coming onto the straightaway here.
That just shows you the difference. So the Toyota on slick tyres, and of course we don't normally see this car going so well of PJ Jones, but he's almost finding a way back past the two leaders because being on slicks gives him that performance edge. Meanwhile, we want to look back. In the background you could just see Zanardi, but he is being caught by Andretti and Blundell. Cross the line goes Zanardi as he goes past our commentary position. Andretti, Moore, Blundell. So Moore has got past Blundell on that lap, and it's now Moore who's putting Andretti under pressure. Greg Moore also on slick tyres, and he is really flying now. The winner of the last two races is beginning to close up towards the leaders, but there's a gap of some 14 seconds between Greg Moore and these two struggling around on their now very worn wet tyres. Now we've got, as the clock ticks away, we've got exactly 5 minutes to go now. That's around 4 laps to go of this track. Can de Ferran and Fittipaldi hold on to the advantage here? Zanardi struggling to stay in third place, and Andretti and Moore, I think next time around, Jeremy, Andretti and Greg Moore are going to be right on Zanardi's tail.
Yes, they are indeed. The question, they have significantly faster cars. Now, these Goodyear wets might be pretty good, but I don't think they're good enough to hold off the slick shod car of Greg Moore. Looking, biding his time there. That's not the place to try and make a pass in that turn 7-8 chicane on the back straight.
But this is Zanardi. That's how close it's got. Zanardi is now being caught by both Greg Moore and Mark Blundell, who are both on slicks, and now Mark Blundell and Greg Moore looking to get past him and into third place for Greg Moore. Zanardi goes down the inside trying to find the culvert. Mark Blundell's trying to get past Greg Moore. Parker Johnson's gone off at the same time. It's happening everywhere. He was in ninth place. Oh no, Zanardi's gone straight on down to the chicane, gets back onto the circuit, and Mark Blundell stays on the dry line. He gets past. Greg Moore has lost a bit of time there as well. Oh, I wish we'd seen that. That must have been a real wheel banging bit of racing going into the chicane there. But the result is that Blundell is now in third. He's on slick tyres and he's chasing after our two leaders. The gap is 12 seconds. We've got about 3 laps to go, but he on a clear track has about a 6-second a lap advantage. This is going to be great stuff. And Blundell, once again, after 2 weeks ago, we saw the drama. More drama. Zanardi's off the road again. Those tyres have lost all grip now. He is struggling all the time to stay on the road, and he's just lost several places in one go as Moore and Bozell have gone past him. And Bozell, remember, he's flying on slick tyres at this point. Well, where do we look next?
I don't know. But meanwhile, certainly a little bit of breathing ground for Gilles de Ferran. There goes Mark Blundell past us in third position now, 6.7 seconds behind the second place car, the first and second place cars. Blundell can win this motor race, no question.
He can win it. He's got a 6-second a lap advantage over the two leaders. We've still got a couple of laps to go. Alex Zanardi, you ride on board with him, and Paul Tracy's just gone past him. So Tracy has also just gone past Raoul Bozell, and Tracy is now, or is that Pruitt? That's actually Pruitt further down the field. So Tracy's now up into 8th position as he charges round on his slick weather tyres. The championship leader still trying to get some points from this event. The championship not going to change that much, although Greg Moore, of course, going quite well. He's in 5th place and he's lying 3rd in the championship. But I want to see how quickly Mark Blundell is catching these two. There's Blundell in the background. And we've got, as they come around, the clock is ticking away. It'll be virtually 58 minutes of this, 1 hour 58 minutes of this race completed. Blundell can win this. He can win this race. He's in 3rd position as he comes down the start-finish straight. Don't worry about the white and green car. That's out of it. That's not playing the game at all. The Motorola car of Mark Blundell is catching the two leaders. Gilles de Ferran leads. 2nd place, Christian Fittipaldi on wet tyres. We've got a spinner down there. Let's hope that doesn't bring the yellows out. We want to keep the racing going here. And Mark Blundell now looking to get past Christian Fittipaldi, but he's going to get on the wet stuff to do it. Well, this is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, don't get carried away, Mark Blundell. Patience is what you need here right now. He's clearly got a faster car. He's as much as 5 seconds a lap faster than the wet shod cars in front of him, but he can't afford to make a mistake. There's a couple of minutes to go in this race. 2 more laps. He bought the outside there and tries into turn 5. That is not going to work. Fittipaldi moves across, but on the exit, Blundell, that's a slippery line there. He can't get the power down, and Fittipaldi able to use those traction of the wet weather tyres. This is great stuff. Blundell looks the inside into turn 7.
Looks as though he might have made it this time. He's got to get back on the dry stuff. He does it, and he goes up in a second position. It's given Gilles de Ferran the chance to get away a little bit as they come round this time. Will they get the white flag this time as they come round? Let's keep an eye on the start of Gantry. The white flag, it's the last lap of the race. In Detroit, Mark Blundell lost the win on the last lap. He could take the victory here. He's got a performance advantage over Gilles de Ferran's car. Fittipaldi locks up. He's down to third position now. Bozell is in fourth. Greg Moore is in fifth. Blundell is chasing his first win in the PPG Kart Series, and he's in with a real shout, but he's got to get it right. And de Ferran is totally entitled to defend to all he's worth here. The last lap of a motor race, just about anything goes, and de Ferran will be protecting that lead as best he can. Through this sequence of corners, he is not going to leave a gap if he can avoid it.
Oh, this is great stuff. There he is through turn 3. He gets a power down like he did the last time with Christian Fittipaldi. Will he? Whoa! De Ferran says no. He's the leader. He can take the line. Now he has to make it do at turn 7 and 8, the same place as last lap, Ben.
This is the last chance for Mark Blundell. Is he going to get down the inside into the final couple of corners? He's looking for the inside line. De Ferran holds the middle road. Now Mark has got to get the best exit out of the last corner. It's the only way he can do it is on the power, on the traction as he uses the slick tyres out towards the checkered flag. Gilles de Ferran leads. Mark Blundell is coming up on him. The checkered flag awaits. Across the line they go, and it's going to be Mark Blundell. Mark Blundell wins at Portland. Mark Blundell is the winner by 27 thousandths of a second from Gilles de Ferran, and what an amazing finish to the 9th round of the PPG Kart Series. After losing in Detroit, Mark Blundell wins in Portland.
Good grief. And look, there in the picture is also Raoul Boisel in third place. We didn't see him, but look at this. There's less than 100 yards to go as Mark Blundell just inches past Gilles de Ferran there to take the win. And here is Raoul Boisel trying the inside line, absolutely abreast as they go across the line. What a fabulous motor race that was.
That's the way we like to see it. 3 cars separated by 55 thousandths of a second. And Mark Blundell becomes the first British winner of a PPG Kart Series since Nigel Mansell as he wins at Portland. Fantastic performance from him. Gilles de Ferran in second, Raoul Boisel third, Christian Fittipaldi fourth, Greg Moore fifth, and Guterman sixth. Well, what a motor race that was, and a brilliant choice. And there, Derek Walker, the look in the Walker camp, Derek Walker just couldn't quite believe it. And in the Pac West camp, that was the view as they crossed the line. And Bruce McCall there on the right-hand side of your picture, as they came across the line looking to see where they finished. What delight for the Pac West, and it's so delightful. 5 points now between Paul Tracy and Greg Moore in the championship, with Michael Andretti only a further 4 points behind. Things are really getting very, very close at the top. But what a tremendous race that was. And Mark Blundell, well, congratulations to him. I mean, we have to be a little bit jingoistic here, I think, Jeremy. It's great to see Mark Blundell winning a round of the PPG Kart Series. It's into his second year now, but what a tremendous race he drove. And I'm just so delighted for him that he's taken the win.
Well-deserved win for Mark Blundell. Just a tremendous drive him. You can't get much closer than that, can you?
Well, it's been a tremendous race. I hope you enjoyed our coverage here on Eurosport. From Ben Edwards and Jeremy Shaw, until next time, bye-bye.